Now it is moving. Is it moving,
No,
sir?
it is okay, sir. Okay, sir. Not moving.
Sir, your slides are
Not-
not moving.
Slides are not moving. Then I will now. You just check now.
Yes, sir, it is moving now. Yes, sir.
Because when magnifying
It
it
is
is not
coming,
moving,
sir.
it seems. Now, okay, let me go with this. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Please proceed, sir.
so actually, for developing a research project, actually, I just wanted to convey everyone that grant will come through without a proposal and effort to get a grant. One must write a good proposal. This is what I just wanted to make everyone. As I would like to mention to everyone during my tenure at Mizoram University, Mizoram University is one which has got more than 300 crores research projects during my tenure. Earlier, the same faculty before I joined into Mizoram University has not been applied that kind of projects earlier. The same faculty were motivated to apply to different funding agencies. First of all, we have to clarify them that what are the funding agencies available in different subjects. And then everyone has to make an effort for that. So what I just did during my tenure is that, so I asked all my faculty members to apply minimum 2 to 3 projects every year. So like that, I started initiating the research motivation to everyone. And during this particular process, everyone will try to write a project. But what happens? Some people they will not apply properly. Some people they will be not writing the concept of the project proposal properly, and the themes also will not be properly mentioned. So that kind of projects are not being going to be funded. But sometimes when they go on keeping applying, so there will be a time that their project writing skills will be improved in such a way, and they will be definitely getting. So that's how during my 5 years tenure in Mizoram, it has got highest number of research projects during my tenure, and no university in the country got that many projects. Only Mizoram University has got 300 crores research projects. This actually has to be kept in mind, youngsters and particular young faculty members, that once you submit a project, it will not be guaranteed that project will not be sanctioned, because there are many things which are going to be considered: the background of the investigator and the experience of the investigator, confidence of the investigator, and also the theme of the project proposal, and also the assessors who are assessing the project. They also should get a confidence that this
This
project is
meeting
going to
is
be
being
given to them.
recorded.
It should be going to be one of the successful project. So there are many factors, and also it's the literature which you are going to collect should be innovative, and don't keep repeatedly applying the same theme, or already work has been carried out, that should not be applied, and you should have a novel ideas. So to apply a research project, typically one need to identify a suitable area which actually the investigator, the person who is applying for a project, he should understand what is the kind of project he can easily carry out the particular one. And it develop a strong research proposal, then submit application accordingly to the guidelines and funding agency and organization. This often involves creating a compelling case for your project, demonstrating your qualifications, and outlining a clear plan for your research. I think some of you are opening your mic. You can stop your microphone. Otherwise, it will be continuously disturbances coming. I request all the participants to switch off your mic. Please switch off your mic, please. Please switch off your mic. Otherwise, it is a disturbance. No use of talking. So, how to select a grant proposal? How to select? What are the different steps in that? You'll be obtaining the grant for your career, or you are applying for the institution. This is actually you have to make. If you are applying for an institution, that area of the entire institution expertise has to be taken into consideration. If you are applying for yourself, you have to take your area of research expertise has to be taken into consideration. And do you have time to allot and its requirements? Actually, how much time you require to undertake that particular project, whether it is 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, you have to decide on that. And do you meet the criteria, that what are the guidelines given by the funding agency? Whether you meet the criteria, you have to decide on that. You have to first understand that whether you are eligible or not. It is feasible to finish the application prior to its deadline, because they will be giving 20 days or 30 days time. Whether you can prepare the project in that particular period or not, you have to decide. And is there a necessary output from the proposal? Are you going to get any kind of meaningful conclusions, meaningful innovation, meaningful creativity? Is that achievable? Some people, they give very ambitiously lot of work actually they wanted to carry out during that particular period. Then that is the case, actually they will not achieve that target, and half of the project also will not be possible to undertake. That is also one of the biggest problem. You have to decide which what kind of parameters you can carry out, and how much time it is required, and whether what is the kind of grant proposal, a statement of intent, that is what kind of research you are going to take carry out, and ideas you are planning should take in a stipulated period. You should clearly demonstrate. Academically prepared research is a stipulated time. Audience, peers, reviewers, supervisors, examiners who are going to assess your project, they should get a feeling that it is a reasonably well planned and well developed project. So, what are the facts actually? Some facts you should know. Best way to get never project is, some people in our university and in my previous university. So actually, I don't want to tell the names of the people or names of the university. They always feel that why should we go for project applying, and why should we get crores of money, lakhs of money, and why should we, the budget is not been cleared, and accounts no dues are not being given. Why should we get all these troubles? And when we are getting retired, dues will be there. This is the main feeling with many people. That will not be uh, there. That should not be there. Best way to get a grant: follow the instructions which are given in that, and also to update the particular budget. Everything has to be submitted in time, and no dues also has to be cleared in time. And you have to begin at the beginning, stop at where you are wanted to close that particular project. That also you should do. So when something can be read without effort, great effort has gone into its writing. That is, Enrique JP has given statement. Something has to be initiated, and without effort, nothing is possible. This is what actually everyone has to remember. Write on the most important and simplest idea. This is most important. Many people, they see the ideas which are actually being given by other people publishing. That actual repetition will not be going to be identified by the reviewers of the project. You have to go for the innovative idea that is not been carried out. For example, small thing also it should be innovative. For example, I can tell you one of the project actually I proposed during my service. When we have proposed a project actually underground 1800 feet depth of the water sea, we wanted to isolate the organisms. That time actually the people who are reviewing our project, they asked me, what is the novelty in this here? I mentioned that it is an organism which actually lives at a temperature around 8 to 10 degrees, and that organism will contain many enzymes which cold adapt to enzymes. That is not much work has been carried out in India. So that is the idea. It has been little bit carried out in different countries. So that actually we have taken into consideration. And what is the experience you have? They questioned me. Then I said, lot of microbial work we have already carried out, and that actually organized organ isolation, culturing them, isolating enzymes, everything is possible for us. So they were normally in any project review, they will be seeing your background, whether you can able to undertake the project or not. So this is one of the criteria that everyone should remember, that your experience you have to be in a position to defend. Then only the people will be giving considering you for the project. Science is not the everything, and people will be giving ambitiously 1 crore, 2 crores, 3 crores, and you will be proposing. But actually, that should be realistic. And money is not the criteria. Money can be given any much amount, but actual science is not everything. You have to grant get in science and art. Actually, that all science innovation also should be there. There is no grantship that will turn a bad idea into a good one, but there are many ways to disguise a good idea. So this is what Norm Braverman has suggested, that there is no grandmanship, but that will turn a bad idea into positive idea. You cannot change it, but you can make a good idea with the particular disguise. Writing a grant is like playing a game. You have to play, you have to take several risks, and you have to keep writing several times. Particularly, you take one problem and you start writing the objectives, you start writing the significance, you start collecting the literature. So you will be repeatedly writing and repeatedly correcting it, and repeatedly you are making a project proposal, and you will be getting a final shape, very good one. So it is a trial and error basis, like a playing a game. You will try to put a ball in the basket, but never been successful in the initial stage. But after 3-4 times attempts, you will be getting it success. So first, what you have to do is get the guidelines, read the guidelines, follow the guidelines, and finally you keep the terms, key terms, and make the proposal finally prepared. Then your final proposal will be very good. And what are the different parts of the grant proposal you will be having? First, you have to make an attempt for attractive title, attractive summary, and objectives of that, need for the statement, and goals and objectives, methodology. Methodology, some people, without knowing the methodology, they will prepare a project. That is also not. Project management, how you are going to manage that. Quality of key personnel and institution who are going to be involved. That quality has to be clearly described. Evaluation plan, dissemination plan, and references which you collect. Budget and budget should be very clearly concise, and what is that you are going to plan, how you are going to spend that, how you are going to, what is the advantage you are going to get it, and what is the outcome you have to spell out in the final. And finally, you have to go for the biodata of the applicant, and the certifications, and ethical clearances, or any kind of permissions. All has to be procured in the particular grant proposal. So, what are the essential ingredients? First is the issue. What is the problem? And what is our research, what is going to address? That has to be taken into consideration. And design the research problem. How we are going to research, achieve its objectives, and what are the benefits you are going to achieve. So you have to make 3 questions by yourself. First, what is the problem? What kind of problem you want to investigate? And what is the research methodology, research design you are making it? You make a second part, and you make a question. So till you get the question answered by yourself, you will be making questions like that. And benefit, what is the outcome? What is the innovation? What is the creativity? And you put a question. So these has to be separately designed by you. These are separately planned. And finally, you club them, and you will get a big proposal, which is meaningful proposal. So problem need or needs has to be stated properly. Make a compelling case why you should be funded. What is the reason? The reviewer will ask you, what is the project proposal? What is the significance? Why we should fund you? What is the idea or problem I want to examine or address? What you are going to address? And what is that it is not been, it's innovative or novel? Why it is so important? Whom you are addressing? And whether any significance is there? Whether related research projects has been done by you or not before, and why is mine different, differently you are applying? So state the problem in such a way that they should not ask you a question. State the known things, actually describe things which are known to you already in that project proposal. Describe the gaps, where the gaps are, already some work has been carried out. What is that left over, and what is that you are going to do, and why fill up this gap? What is the need for that? You should also state. And the first sentence in the is the problem. What is the problem you are choosing? That has to be described. Then clearly the problem be defining both the behavior and what is normal. So states that this is a pressing need, demand of the situation, demand of the society, and which is hopefully the need for the funding agency. We are going to address what is the objective of the funding, because there are several funding agencies. They have some thematic areas, and they will be having only projects funding in that particular area. So that is to be trapped by us, and that is to be addressed by us. So we have to describe them. A grant is not an idea, it is a plan that should convince yourself first, and your team who are actually working in that, and your institution, and then funding agency. These are the various steps actually you have to take care of that, and you have to make a assessment that a funding agency will ask you. What are the questions actually they are going to ask you? That also you have to be prepared. So what are the goals and objectives? This is what Very important, goals and objective. What we are going to do, and you should be very realistic. You should not say that I will bring the space into Earth. This is not a objective which you cannot achieve anything, and so you have to be clearly describe the objective which actually you can do. So how logically from the statement of need, what you are going to do, convey the ultimate intent of the proposed project. What is that you are going to do, and state the essence of the proposed work in terms of what will be accomplished and what is going to be achieved. Break the goal down to specific measurable pieces, and the outcome of which can be measured to determine actual accomplishment, what you are going to achieve. Many times what happens, people will be writing several objectives to be undertaken, but the people who are reviewing your project, they will say that you should cut down your objectives, you should cut down various parameters which you have mentioned. That is not possible to do in your 3 years project. So it should be realistic. Plan of action, project design, and methodology. So these are three very important. So if you plan something to do, but without knowing methodology, you cannot do anything. So the methods which are actually prescribed for that particular undertaking the project, you should be very well known to you. And the methodology, what methods you are going to follow, that should be described. And design of the project. So first 1 month, what you are going to do. First 6 months, what you are going to do. After 1 year, what you are going to do. After 2 years, what you are going to do. What are the requirements in the first year? What are the requirements in second year? So all this has to be points has to be addressed. And management and key personnel, demonstrate that you are the right person to do that project, because your capability, your knowledge, your commitment, and your experience will dictate them, the funding agency, that you are the capable person for that. If you don't mean prove yourself that you are a capable man, if they are asking questions, if you don't answer, nobody will fund you, because they will not get confidence on you. So convince the funding agency that you are capable of accomplishing what you are going to say there, and highlight the expertise, your expertise and experience of all key personnel who are going to be involved in project. Indicate responsibilities of all and level of effort. So because you are going to, sometimes you are going to have a multi investigator project. So who is going to do what? So you have to describe that what is the knowledge of the individuals, and what you are going to achieve, and what they are going to do, and what they are contributing to your project. Everything has to be described properly. So why your institution is uh, uh, provide the facilities? What should be it is going to be award to the made your institution? What is the kind of requirement for the institution, and what are the kind of instruments you require? Experience in meaning similar projects, in handling, managing that kind of project your institute has got. For example, in many areas, when funding is given, why the DD is coming to us, why the DD is not given to the individual, why institution has to give the accounts. These are the many questions in many institutions. Many questions will be coming. Colleges and universities, they will be asking. Accounts people are not ready to undertaking this extra work. So highlight the institution capability, that how many projects are being handled by institution, how they are good enough to help you to undertake the project. And the project mission actually is going to be completed because of the cooperation from the institution. When we are going to apply 300, 400 projects from one institution, that institute has got capability or not. So this capacity to manage the project when it is given to institution, that is to be convinced to the funding agency. So evaluation plan. So when you are going to address the project, and what is the process you are going to do, and what is the outcome it is going to evaluation, you have to assess yourself and tell who will be the evaluators and how they will be chosen. So who are the evaluators? The project evaluator who are experienced in that area. You have to give the experts in that area, and they will be the better persons to evaluate your project. Define the evaluation design. So you are keeping one particular methodology design of the research, and you are going to achieve the various things. You give yourself one design. Plan to evaluate the achievement of each objective every year. So that particular design has to be the research work which you are carrying out should be evaluated. So you should be particularly accountable what you are going to do. Discuss the data collection and analysis methods, what you are going to do, how you are going to collect the data, how you are going to process the data, what are the methodology you are using. Everything has to be described. Indicate how evaluation fundings will be used, how you are going to use the funding, for what purpose you are going to use. Describe evaluation reports to be produced every 6 months. This is what actually evaluation plan by the investigator, by the faculty who are going to apply this, it should be also been kept in their mind. So logical framework example, integrated pest management is that fruit fly is one of the area. So in that, if we just see here, the what is that goal? Increase income of the farmers, reduce the insecticide pollution. Objectives to be verified by the indicators. 20% of the increase of the net income of the mango farmers in Kenya by 2020. That is the 20% production has been increased. And economic and environment reports actually no pesticide contamination will be there. And mangoes production continues is main source of economy. And purpose, what is the purpose? Increase of production, good quality mangoes, increase production, decrease expenditure. That is the main purpose. That is main objective. And 50% of the reduction in the amount of mango production being rejected by the buyers in Kenya by 2020 because they are going to use the pesticides. That is going to be reduced now. And what is the socio-economic studies? Because the verification, how the acceptance of the mangoes by producing this kind of integrated pest management, what is the acceptance of the particular consumers? Use of integrated pest management is not in not countries and contracted by subsidized insecticides. So if you are going to have utilize again subsidized insecticides, that is also going to have a integrated pest management is going to be suffered. Output, proven output in integrated pest management package of being main authentication and biological control and culture control, everything will be possible. And identify the elements, developing packaging, package of IPM, conducting experiments. These are the various activities we have to conduct. The final outcome, effective and inexperienced extracts available in insecticide usage, that actually can be avoided. And cost budget will be reduced enormously. That also been possible. And legal status given to the IPM, because in this integrated pest management legal status has been given. So these are the various advantages when you are proposing a project. So like this goal, purpose, outputs, and you have to classify in a table form what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages. You just spell out and you make the project design. So dissemination plan, that how you are going to deliver the project objectives, that actually you have to make a plan. How will you make the research results available to others? And describe your dissemination plan and target audience who are going to be addressed in this. Consider websites, publications, presentations at conferences, training and education, public outreach, etc. Everything has to be convinced. This is what, when you are talking about one project, for example, BT cotton is there, BT brinjal is there, BT fruit vegetables are there. So when it has been introduced, BT brinjal and BT cotton, lot of uproar is there in the country that the BT crops should not be used in the country because the biotechnologically used developed fruits are not going to be good for health, and they are going to give several health effects. So these are various uproar in the society has been developed. That actually has to be uh, reduced by providing awareness camps and even propagating that what are the advantages of this kind of biotechnology fruits and vegetables, and how you are going to get the safety vegetables and fruits, that you have to explain. So this is dissemination plan should be there. And sustainability and continuation, that has to be continued. Sustainability means it should be successful and it should be profitable and it should not be harmful. So what happens when the money runs out from you and if you don't get a profit? Funders want to have a lasting impact and they want to know how it will happen. Describe how you are proposed to continue the project beyond the funding that you are requesting. So after the project is over, whether it is going to be continued or not, that also has to be addressed. So demonstrate ethics throughout the grant. So in writing, you have to definitely clearly spell out, and also in negotiation with the funding agency, we should also discuss these points. That is, what are the ethics In implementation of the project also, these things to be kept in mind. In evaluation also, these things are to be kept in mind. And in reporting, and as a publications or as a report, project report, we should keep this in mind. Have I thought about the ethics of what I am planning to do, whether it is ethically permissible or whether it is going to be affecting any society or whether it is going to ethical values of the human beings are getting affected. This has to be taken into consideration. Are there any sensitive issues or potential problems which need to be addressed? These problems has to be, I was mentioning you about the BT crops and BT vegetables. That potential problem has to be addressed. So have a fully consulted on these issues and obtain the relevant clues where actually they are required, and that has to be addressed and answered. Any conflict of interest that's which is going to be leaking information of your institute or leaking information of other people, that conflict of interest has to be avoided. You need to have a interest in the first page itself, all this to be addressed. So evaluation criteria. The applicant has to professional standing of the applicant and current um, uh, the compartments what that this applicant is having, and personal integrity, whether he is the person not been lying or not been making any kind of wrong projects, or experience of the candidate, and productivity of the applicant has to be properly spelled out. The application technical and scientific data has to be properly planned, and what you are going to present this particular one, how you are going to present this one, how you are going to implement this one, and this has to be given. Institution consortium, if you are going to be single institute or a consortium, all this has to be addressed in all the institutions. And budget, if you are going to have multi institutions, what how much budget has to be given to others and how much budget to be given to your institute has to be everything. And you should finally think that what is the value for the money which is being given by the funding agency. So what do reviewers look for? That is, the funding agency will have experts. What they are going to look for your project. They will also look, they will not give simply whatever the project proposal by you. They will also see certain things. Great ideas. So whether this idea is novel or innovative or great idea, they will see. Simple, relevant, and implementable idea. Great promise or potential for impact on the society. And from individuals, great individuals who have the capacity to deliver on their promise, and the track record to prove it. Actually, their experience is very good, and they have already published a good paper. They already brought some good patents. That also going to make a good sense. Working in the great institution, that is the experience which you had in one institution where you have studied, that experience also will be taken into consideration by the reviewers. Able to provide conductive environment for the work in your institution, able to provide uh, fiduciary oversight to the work. That is, you will able to provide. You will not be making project very simply, loosely, and you are going to give a continuous vigilance and work which is going to be carried out in your laboratory, and great value for the money given by the reviewers, the funding agency, and value addition to the existing knowledge beyond the funded and the mandate. You are what you are going to give it to the society, that also they will be looking. And what is that you have to do is read the advertisement, because many calls will be coming. If you just go into all funding agencies, or even if you are going into the Google News regularly, you will find many kind of calls every day. These are the funding required. These are the scholarships required. These are the scholarships are given, and these are the funding opportunities. These are the areas where you can apply to funding from within the country, outside the country. So you have to read the call and read again. And reading a call, studying the target founder, what is that they are achieving, what is that it is been mentioned. And if you don't put any effort, there is no use of writing a grant. It is wasted whatever you write. You need to put an effort, that you should read very carefully about the project intention and objectives, and then you have to plan such a way that the project should be useful to you. And speak to the call, and you have to see that, identify and use keywords and phrases and concepts which actually the ideas. If they are asking you about the developing monoclonal antibodies. So if you are not going to develop monoclonal antibody and which you are going to develop something else, that is not going to be useful for the funding agency. Whatever they ask you, if they ask you to develop a product, you're going to develop residues. That actually you should not do that kind of things. And review again. So what I was telling you in the beginning also, that you have to write one project proposal. Any paper will not come just like that. You have to go for repetitions, revisions, modifications, number of time. So finally, after 3, 4 revisions, so you will have 10 days time. So every day you add something, read something. When you are reading continuously, repeatedly, you will get the more refined project proposal by the end of the day. And note the deadlines and respect them religiously. That is, if deadline is 20th of this month, if you are going to modify the project up to 20th and finally try to give in the last minute of 20th evening, submitting the project, sometimes the website will not work, sometimes the portal will not work, sometimes the internet will not be there, so you are going to be failed. This has happened for many people. So don't wait till the last minute. You have to be vigilant about the deadlines. If you don't follow this, you are no, and if you don't put these efforts, your project may be rejected. And a project which is proposed or without experience or without knowing the lessons, if you do this, it is going to be rejected. So very carefully you should do this. And your audience and requirements, that is, who are going to be addressed by your research project, and what are the requirements. Consider your audience. Reviewers panels can range from experts to educated journalists, non-experts. Avoid jargon, that is like a jumbling. If you tell something which is not known to them, that is correct. So you have to assess the reviewers who are going to sit and your project requirements and evaluation process, which actually you have to keep the reviewers capabilities also in your mind. You want to get the reader's attention right at the beginning and convey your enthusiasm for your research project. What is that technology technique which normally many people uh, concentrates on the during the presentation of the project, is that the reviewers actually who are sitting in front of you should be attracted by you. You should tell them in the beginning itself the attractive project proposal title and the objectives, what you are going to do and what you are going to achieve. You should tell in 3, 4 lines within or with the beginning of the project. Immediately they will get attracted towards your project. That's also very a technique which you can attract them to be very attractive for you. And follow the specifications. The size of the project, font size or margins which you prepare in a project, that also, and length of the project and word count also. You write very lengthy objectives, very lengthy theme, that is going to spoil your project proposal. So you should write in such a way that it should have an attractive situation and attractive objective plans, and plan of work and significance of the work should be very attractive for the evaluator. And always try to keep subheadings. Subheadings will be attractive and more knowledgeable and more informative for the evaluators. Decide upon and prepare any attachment that are permitted. You can also keep that particular subheadings. Appropriate writing style, that is very very important, that you should not write copied, because nowadays a lot of plagiarism problems are there. So if you are going to keep copied from different sources, that is going to be not accepted by the reviewers. So because you have copied from, immediately they can say that it is plagiarism is a problem. So they will say that immediately you're not, it's not your own idea, you're taken from other source. That is going to be a big issue for you. So you have to be very careful. And when you are writing the project proposal, writing style, and write to the funder that in a correct language, and write to inform that don't use language that is biased. So don't give controversial statements, and use data from reputed sources, not from the different sources. So they will, what is the basis for your statement, they will ask you. So edit your work, define balance between word count and brevity, and that equals the clarity. Everything will be taken into that. If I waited for perfection, I would never write a word. So you need to go for perfection, not just for writing. So this is Margaret Atwood actually has said. So how to design a research project? This is the basic you do thing. The scientific method, otherwise referred as a research methodology and described as sequence of steps systematically analyzing the various scientific questions. So there are many questions has to be put. So what is that my title going to address? What are the objectives in this? What I am going to address? And what are the methodologies involved in that? What methods I can use? What kind of novelty I can get? What kind of creativity I can get? And what kind of significance of project? And what is the output actually which is going to be useful for the society? These are the questions has to be developed by you, and these questions has to be addressed by you first. And these are the things actually looked after by the evaluators, which actually when you are going for the funding agent. Researching the previous studies and current data pose hypothesis for current proposed research problem. Previous work which has been carried out in this area will give an idea what is the gaps between the work. Designing a research project protocol to answer the question or to prove or disprove the hypothesis, actually you have to decide. Executing the design research to create reproducible results. So some people they say that this is going to be a toxic for a particular organism, and this is going to be forming residues. This is going to be chemically effective for the particular organism. But this, the whatever statement you are making, that should be reproducible. When you repeat the experiment, that should be reproducible. This is what actually research says, that results can be repeatable and reproducible. Why? Because if you see now, thousands of publications are being retracted. You might be knowing several people are publishing paper without properly uh, answering the questions, and also without data which actually reproducible. They will be publishing. So these publications actually which has been published by mistake by the journals, and once they found out that this is going to be a wrong concept and wrong publication, the journals many times will be retracting the publication. So if we just see that there is about 20 to 30% of the journals papers are getting retracted all over the world. All the journals actually it is been practiced. So people should remember that you should not make any kind of copying. You should not make any kind of plagiarism. You should not make any kind of fake results in your study. Even in nature, when I was in Germany for a while, actually one of the scientists who published around 13 publications in Nature. So Nature people has got doubt how this man has published 13 papers in Nature journal, and what is the kind of sanctity, what is that he has carried out. So when they verified that, it was proven that these papers are actually fake papers. And they retracted all the 12 publications by the particular author from Germany, and they retracted from the journal. So this is very important that you should remember the retraction of the work actually from the publications will be possible. And whatever the data you are proposing in particular project is going to affect your work which has been planned. That also to be kept in your mind. The scientific method applied to research, building on previous studies to add new knowledge and discoveries to the incredible size and diversity of the scientific fields. If you are going to keep that is going to be in your mind, it will be very rewarding. I just tell you one example. During my young stage of research, when along with my student, one of the organism actually when we are doing research, we thought that one of the organism is getting died in the culture. So when we observed that it is a freshwater prawn. So when we observed that, so the organism is getting died by shedding of his appendages. So what is that? We tried with all bacteria, viral, and all fungal diseases, everything we have done. And finally, it is proved that there is no viral disease, there is no bacterial disease, there is no fungal disease. Then we observed that particular organism very keenly. What is the possibility for this particular disease prevailing? So that is a very small observation, and we could able to observe that it is the red pigments which are to be present in a particular organism at the abdomen region is not been present during the particular disease time. So that we could observe it is because of the nutritional deformity, nutritional disorder. So when we tried with nutritional supplements, that disorder has been gone away. So very simple observation. What we keenly observed, that particular organism has got disease being winded off, and we really got that particular paper publication in a wonderful public journal in the whole world actually. First time we have reported that. A small observation has given us. So you need to be very clearly understood the problem, what you are going to do. Research definition is very important. You should do scientific and systematic search of pertinent information on a specific topic is actually you need to think that what you are going to plan. A careful investigation or inquiry, especially through search for new facts in any branch of knowledge, that is going to be, it is not for science, it is not for social science, it's not for engineering, it's not for management, any branch of science. A careful investigation or inquiry, especially through search of new facts in any branch of knowledge, actually it is called research. Systemized effort to gain new knowledge. Research is a systematic and organized scientific process to find answers to the questions. These are the very important steps you need to remember. Writing a research proposal, it must be hypothesis driven. You should have a particular hypothesis in your mind, and the project has to be developed through that hypothesis. It must be concise and focused on a particular problem. You should not write very lengthy information and which is copied from different publications is not going to help you. Supportive preliminary data, that work which has been already started by you, preliminary data analysis has been carried out. You have an experience and proven concepts which actually you are proposing are already proved by you. Spend most effort on the experimental plan. So the most important thing in a research problem is experimental plan is very important. So restate the hypothesis through methodology. So what you are going to say in objectives method, you should also say in the methodology. And present a rational, that is the theory which you are proposing, that a rational basis should be there. Describe the research plan in a proper way, that how you are approaching for that problem within a period of 3 years. Describe the methodology. What are the methodology required you are going to use? Provide a rational plan for failure. So there is a possibility for failure. There is a possibility for success. There is a possibility for no result may obtain. So these things also you need to prescribe very clear with a clarity in your problem. What is a hypothesis? Hypothesis is a proposed explanation for a phenomenon which you are going to test. Hypothesis, many people they don't know what is. People will ask you what is hypothesis of your research plan. A proposed explanation for your phenomena which actually you are going to do in your project. So you say that I'm going to test this, I'm going to test this. What is that proposed explanation? Why you are going to do that? What is the need for that? What is that outcome you are expecting that? This is called hypothesis driven and not exist in interesting, and it's exist and it should be interesting. Let's study it. So but exist regulates, is regulates the Y chromosomes inactivation by binding to the X chromosome to be inactivated. We have written something statement like this. No, you should not write exist is interesting. Let's study it. That is not correct. But you should write exist regulates the Y X chromosomes inactivation by binding to the X chromosome to be inactivated. So this actually you have to write a hypothesis like this, because X chromosomes will be bound by the particular exist, and that regulates the X chromosome's expression, and that is going to be inactivated after its binding. That is going to be tested, or it is going to be studied by us. This kind of hypothesis has to be corrected. So what is not means what you should not do, what you should do. That's what actually I have tried to clearly be specific and focus on a particular hypothesis. Do not just use a technique to address an experimental area without well formulated hypothesis. A well formulated hypothesis is very much useful to your getting project. The most four important components are for a 5-page grant proposal. You should write 5-page grant proposal. So most important components are in a particular project proposal. What is the specific aim of your project? It should be only half page to concisely define what you are going to do, what you are intended to do, and why you wanted to do. That should be within half page you should cover. And background and significance. Background means what is the work already been carried out and what is the significance of the project. 1 to 1.5 page. It should not be background should be 1 page and half page should be significance. This section should review published information in these lines and in support of your hypothesis. Bring out the importance of the project. And you have finished already 2 pages of the 5 pages. And preliminary data. 1 page data section to use in support of the hypothesis, an important part of the grant that allows the reviewers to understand that the approach by you is correct and actually work is been carried out by you. That should be preliminary data should contain one page. The experimental plan, what you are going to do in the next 3 years, that should have 2 pages. Write up first year what you are going to do, second year what you are going to do, third year what you are going to do. That allows the reviewers to understand how actually you plan the work to attack your question. That is the project proposal will be attracting them, the reviewers. What is the specific aim? Detailed summary. This specific aim should be given. State overall hypothesis in the beginning or after this particular 5 pages write-up. Give enough background and what is the importance of that and what you are going to do. Spell out the specific aim of your proposal, each with an individualized hypothesis, followed by a concise summary of the expected result. So for every statement you are making, what is that you are going to plan and what is the expected results? You should clearly specify. Background, what you are going to write in background. Provide a good overview of the topic. You are going to test on IPR, what I was giving an example. What is IPR and what are the components in IPR? How IPR has been already been worked carried out, and what are the components which are actually been carried out, and what you are making change, and how you are going to study here in your project. Need to know the particular basis what you are going to do that. What are the gaps in knowledge that you are going to fill with your proposal? The gaps which has not been studied earlier, how you are going to fill that, how you are going to attempt that, how you are going to write that, you should describe. Set up the stage for the whole grant. Whole grant actually you make a stage that we are going to do this, we are going to approach this, we are going to obtain this, we are going to get the outcome of this. You should make this is the budget for that. You should just put everything in a proper way. Preliminary data, I'm talking about preliminary data, already work which has been carried out. What is that preliminary data? Not always possible to have preliminary data. Everyone will not have a preliminary data. But the people who are already been doing research in a particular area, they will have preliminary data. But it helps a lot. Actually, when you have that preliminary data, the reviewers will have a feeling that this person has got experience. So this project, if it is given to him, it will be a successful one. Examples show how that technique has been worked for a related project. Earlier, the technique which you proposed has been already worked out for other projects. Data that show that hypothesis is sound, hypothesis is good, and it is going to be a successful one. What are you are going to do really? The section is the heart of the grant application. This is the main important reviewers will expect you to answer very nicely, very clearly, and in a outcome-based points you have to give. Many people spend so much time on the background, preliminary data section that they run out of this time and they don't concentrate on this particular one. What is your outcome? Really going to get outcome? That is not. It is to be concentrated very well. So how many aims? So people will write aims. No, I write aim 1 and objectives 3, 4. Normally, I write aim is only 1, but I write objectives 4 or 5, 3 maximum. So, but many people they write between 2 and 4. They write, but actually aim actually 1 is better and 2 points may be better. But if you are going to generally 3, it is okay, also okay. 3 points also. But don't go beyond that. 1 or 2 or 3 points. The aim should not be interdependent on one another. The aim should be not dependent on other. The first one, what we are talking, should not be related to the second one. The aim should be differently planned in such a way that the 3 aims are very important for the project. Provide the outlines for your experimental approach as follows. Relate each specific aim of at the beginning of each section. Restate the hypothesis for the specific aim. Provide a rationale for the specific aim, that is theoretical basis. Provide a detailed plan for the experiments. Work plan. Detailed plan methodology work is different, and detailed work plan is different, and detailed year-wise plan is different, and detailed work plan is different. Work plan you have to write in such a way that what are the steps you are going to do. So detailed work plan for everything you also better write. What are the expected outcomes? Be sure to include alternative plans for if the selected approach fails. Many people they make a hypothesis, many people they say many objectives, but it is going to be failed. When you are going to do the work, it is not getting any results. Then you have to change your approach, change your objectives, change your plan. You have to go for other things. That is also you should be ready for that. Literature review is very, very important. to make our research problem clear and bring focus into particular, develop a methodology to be used, what methodology, what parameters you are going to study, to know where we are at stand, to have a broader knowledge in a particular area of research. Search and select literature pertaining to your area. Review selected literature. Develop a theoretical framework and develop a conceptual framework. So these are very important, and many people, what actually they propose, I propose to many people, when you are going to apply a project in a particular area, I suggest my students and also many people that you should write one or two review articles in a particular area. So when you are planning to apply a research project in June or July, so I will ask them to write a review article, research review article in a particular area, and they will understand what are the gaps in that, what are the already outcome which has been obtained, that also they will understand. So this is a good way of approach. So what is literature search? A systematic and thorough search of all existing literature, scientific literature, both published and non-published, in order to identify as many as items possible that are relevant to your particular topic. So this right search is very important. Many people, they cannot even search. They don't know how to search the publication in the particular area. This is the most important. So closed loop conceptualization of the research process. So what we are talking, the loop process, how it is going to be. New questions arise, questions identified, and you go for the review of the questions, and you go for the research plan, and you go for the data collected in that particular area, and results interpreted what you are carrying out, and you will get new questions. What is the kind? This is actually a conceptualization of research problem. How you are going to do that? This is you have to, and what are the materials to be used? Identified. Equipment. What are the major equipment required? So carrying out the one, or you are going to outsource a particular technique, you have to identify. What are the minor equipment required? How many are available with you? What you are going to propose to the research funding agency, you also have to identify. Consumables, how much glassware is required, how much chemicals are required, how much stationery is required, also have to identify. And experimental samples, blood tissue, cell lines, animal clinical volunteers, and what are the expected materials which you are going to get, where to get, and how to get, what is the procedure to be followed, what is the ethical issues involved in that, that also has to be identified. What methods being involved? Practically in your laboratory, in field what you are going to do, this also have to be identified by the investigator. Theoretical, using published or written information as source obtained from different papers, using IT facilities also, you have to theoretically, you have to methods which actually you can use. So budget requirements. I was mentioning you major and minor equipment. Already you have something in your department. So what are the equipment you are going to propose? What are the consumables for 3 years period? What are the salaries, research fellows salaries, and personal allowance, and traveling and substance, because they have to go for field work and they have to go for presentation. All this has to be kept in mind. Stationery. So unforeseen 5 to 10 miscellaneous expenditure. So all these headings should be there. So the budget should be equipment 10 lakhs or 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs. Consumables every year 10 lakhs and salaries personal, it will be around every year 20 lakhs. And so total traveling and stationary unforeseen expenditure will get around 1.5 crores or 2 crores. So this is how budget has to be prepared. Uses of literature search. Why? What is the advantage? Increase our knowledge. I was telling you the review articles, if you write, increase our knowledge. Helps to identify work already done, which is already been carried out. You don't repeat that. Prevent duplicating of the work. Help you avoid errors of previous research and find references. Help to choose, design your own methodology. Help calculating sample size. Already they are using 6 samples at a time. You can use the 6 samples or 8 samples, whatever the requirement. When to start literature search? It is just before starting the problem, or guiding the plan, or guiding the thinking about the project. Then you start writing review or literature search, and you better write one review article. Will help you that to get the design and propose is been done. So what are the different sources of literature? Primary source, articles in journals. Secondary source, PubMed, InMed, Embase. These are the various indexing agencies. And tertiary source, PhD thesis, MPhil thesis, dissertation, and reports, which are actually scientific reports actually. And PubMed is one of the very important source for research grant. This is one PubMed actually you can see www.pubmed and search in keywords that is renologin. You have to keep that particular keyword renologin. You want some information whether any work is carried out. You type that keyword search renologin, and you will get what are the work already been carried out, what is the drug actually been used, and what are the findings. Everything you will get. And the results page has three columns like the different publications, various publications, and how the others, who are the others, and everything you will get there. And different filters also you can use, and which you don't require, that also can be there. So it is downloadable or free article also will be coming in that. And if you click on specific article in the results page, the abstract will be open. So even sometimes abstract is also sufficient for you to collect the information. If full article is coming up, that also can be possible. Search by author. Sometimes you know that some others will be authority in the particular area. You can search by author. Author name, if you type, the various publications of the author will be coming in that particular PubMed. Search by author also you can. So if you search by Casper DL, you got 284 article. Dennis Casper. So both are same, but actually Dennis L. Casper sometimes he use his name, and sometimes he use Casper DL name. So you have to carefully search this particular using particular authors' names. And search by phrase that one particular, so testing on particular pharmacological effects of particular drug, so that you have to make a sentence for the particular one which you want. So you type pharmacological effects of so and so ranolzamide, the drug. So you type that, you will get all the information of that. So search by phrase. And what will happen if you phrase is typed without quotes and searched? Results for adverse drug reaction. Adverse drug reaction, if we don't use any drug, what happens? You will get 6,549 article. Adverse drug reaction, if we don't keep the particular drug, you will get 3,59 articles. So you cannot find the information which you want. If you type adverse drug reaction of so and so drug, if you type, you will get the exact the information of you want. So using filters, full text availability articles only if you type, you will get full text articles. If you are going to use the drugs tested in human and animal, then only you will get the human and animal tested. And if you filter that male disorders and female disorders, you will get male or female. If you get a type of article like review article or research article or new reports, that will be coming. Language, if you want English, if you want Hindi, if you want some other language, Chinese, Japanese, that also. Ages means in between 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 60 and above. If you type age, that filters also will discriminate and will eliminate that what work which you don't require. So Boolean search. Sometimes you want two items. So like you wanted pesticide and residual effects, pesticides and residue formation. So that under or not, these are the Boolean words. So you can search two items at a time by using Boolean words. So just if you type like this, one SADAT, you will get so many articles. If you type SADAT, you will get so many things. But if you type sedation or sedative, you will get exactly what you require. So that is also truncating the words is not good. You have to use what exactly you require. What to do after search? Read all the abstracts. Don't read full articles. It takes long time. Only articles which are very important, you can read them. So, and decide which will be useful to you. Collect the full text articles of those papers which are useful to you and think that they are very important. Take a photocopy and file them, and that you can keep. So, these are online bibliography managers which actually you can references which you have. So, if you use these particular managers, you will get all the bibliography of particular basing on a particular pattern. And reference management software also been available. So you are keeping several references A to Z, so that how to manage them, how to plan them, how to have a sequential reference, that also softwares are available. Study designs normally, once the initial literature search is over, The research problem is selected. The next step is clearly define the objectives, hypothesis. Objectives will in turn determine the appropriate study design and the data type is required. And definition of study design, research design is defined as a plan, structure, and strategy of investigation conceived so as to obtain answers to each question and control variance. Simply put, a study design is the procedure under which a study is carried out. Criteria for research design: be able to test the research hypothesis properly, control for extraneous variables like biasness, confounders, and sampling errors has to be avoided. Allow generalization of results of the study to the population. Don't say that this particular result is going to affect the entire humanity. That kind of generalized statement should be avoided. So study design, you need to have cross-sectional, longitudinal, and experimental studies you need to have. So I'm going to finish within another 10 minutes. So I think it is okay for everyone. Maybe last 5-6 slides I have. So, a taxonomy of epidemiologic study design, you have to go for natural experiments, investigator-initiated experiments, and descriptive case reports, and analytical reports, descriptive reports, and clinical trials, everything. So you have to have a design of everything. So study design again, case reports you are going to have, case series you are going to have, descriptive epidemiology, and you will get analytical epidemiology, animal study, lab study, and hypothesis testing, cohort hypothesis, case control, or cross-sectional and clinical trials. This is how you need to do. And do a sample size calculation before you start collecting data. So you have to go for sample size decision. So some people they use 100 samples, 200 samples, depending on the availability of the sample. Some people they go for 10 samples, 20 samples, depending on the if it is a cancer patient, if it is going to be a cardiological patient, you don't get that. So sample size also has to be determined. And p-value less than 0.5 is declared as statistically significant. Consider clinical significance also. Sometimes you don't get the p-value, but clinical significance, clinical identification also will be going to be significant. So types of experimental studies: animal studies or human studies. Animal studies can be in vitro, in vivo, or ex vivo. Human studies include clinical trials, which are carefully designed experiments to answer specific questions to test hypotheses. It consists of group of subjects to an intervention, drug, and the other group as a concurrent control. It cannot be randomized or randomized. Randomized control trials are the gold standard to evaluate an intervention treatment. They can be parallel design, pair design, or crossover design. So, and voluntary approach also very important. So types of trials normally controlled trials, not controlled trials, randomized trials, not randomized trials, blind trials, or not blind trials. These are the various types of the trials, but this has to be decided, has to be analyzed by the investigator at length. Collaborative research is one of the very important advantage. Many people actually, for example, many college teachers might be there, many private university teachers may be there, and these people actually won't get preference for getting projects in the beginning. So what they have to do is they can go for a collaborative research with the National Institute people, or where the facilities are very much available, that big universities, central universities, and if you have a collaborator or hospital collaborators or even industry collaborators, that joint projects and joint papers will have very good impact, and they will be given preference also sometimes to get the projects. So I just wanted, I'm in the last 2-3 slides. So these are the various funding agencies you can find in India. There are many funding agencies. They are giving grants every week. You get some 5 to 6 grants released, and they are getting. Science and technology is being really encouraged by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and you are getting several project calls: University Grants Commission, DST, AICT, Department of Biotechnology, CSIR, Minister of Environment, Indian Council of Medical Research, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, Ayush, Indian Space Research, National Innovation Foundation, Department of Coal, Indian Meteorological Department, Department of Atomic Energy, DRDO, like DSIR, Ministry of Unconventional, Ministry of Communication. These are the various government agencies giving a lot of funding. And even ministries directly giving: education ministry, consumer, tribal affairs, and science and technology, finance, labor, entrepreneur. They're also giving, and there you can try with those ministries if you have innovative project and interesting topic for the ministry, that also going to be funded by the ministries. International funding agents also, you can say, International Foundation for Science, Wellcome Trust, Rockefeller Trust, European Union, and World Network of Scientific Organizations, grants, and Department of International Development, Research and Development Information, and UK. Catalyze, it is also from the UK. Third World Academy of Science, it is actually China. So there are many funding agencies internationally, they are funding. And even for social science people also, there are many: Indian Council of Social Science, Historical Research, Philosophical Research, Ford Foundation, Bradley Foundation, NABARD, State Bank, Center for Contemporary South Asia, UNESCO, British Council. So many are there. So you have to search them, you have to identify them, you have to record them. Every day you have to see. Some person in an institution can share, because I used to share to my all faculty in my Mizoram University. I used to send every day 156 calls every day through WhatsApp to all my faculty. And this is the way normally you have to uh, that is, teachers has to understand and what are the opportunities for them, and we have to tell them. So ethical and social issues has to be addressed. Manipulating the ideas taken from others be avoided. Some people will take the copy from others, actually project, that is to be avoided. Copying the ideas from others need to be avoided. Falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. Copying the information from others need to be avoided. Use of other material without others material without objection, without proper permission is objectionable and need to be avoided. Social relevance and issues need to be addressed. The final conclusion slide is the research and analytical based training is required for all the levels of training at Indian institutions. How to make this, how to make a project, and then only the people will understand how to make a project proposal. Creativity and innovation need to be uh, collocated and motivated among the student. So from the childhood, actually, this has to be, now the NEP, National Education Policy, is saying that that is going to be inculcated. More practical oriented training and query based approach has to be provided. Why, what, when, where, whom? These are the questions has to be asked. There need to be a orientation in all the courses with the aptitude for research and experimental based education. That is most important. It is necessary to have a small research projects during the course curriculum from the plus two level to postgraduate and research level. That will be helpful to the teachers and also students that to develop research aptitude. Ethical and social issues are to be addressed during the approach for research. So then, getting project proposals with the trial and error basis, it will be wonderful opportunity. If you apply 2, 3, there is a possibility to get one. If you apply 5, 6, you'll try definitely get one project. This is how you have to get motivation. Several people, I know several people apply 1 or 2 projects and they are very much disgusted, and they say that we are not getting any project. This is what actually I saw with many people, and that is going to not going to help the people to go for the project proposal. So this is what actually I wanted to just say, how a research proposal can be made and how to tap the various resources, and youngsters can think about this. And if I am having any questions, I am happy to answer that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor K.R.S.Sambasiva Rao, for your in-depth presentation, which brings invaluable expertise and insight to us all. I'm sure our participants have greatly benefited from it. Now, this session is open for interaction. We encourage each one of you to actively participate in this interactive session. I request our participants to unmute and come forward with their queries and doubts. I once again thank Professor K.R.S. Sambasiva Rao. The participants can ask any questions. They can come forward with their queries. This session is open for interaction. Anyone who would want to ask any question, please unmute and you are free to ask. Okay, no questions from the participant side, it seems. Now I request Dr. Dhrurbajit Bora to give the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon for all of you. I think it is a wonderful session, and I'm pretty sure our participant has received a lot of interest after listening this insightful lecture from Rao sir. Now I'm going to deliver a vote of thanks. Once again, good afternoon for all of you, respected participants and resource persons. We have already completed the keynote speaker session. At the very outset, I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to our keynote speaker, Professor Rao sir. On behalf of organizing committee, he lucidly explains the art and science of proposal writing. Due emphasis on choosing a good research proposal. I thank you, sir, for your valuable lectures and your kind presence. I also thank our international collaborators for their valuable guidance as well as their lucid lectures before our participants. I also thank the Honorable Principal Sir for his encouraging words. His keen interest in research and development helped to create a conducive research environment in the campus. I also thank the President of Governing Body, Dr. Bordoloi Sir, for his insightful and motivating lecture. On this auspicious moment, I also thank Oza Sir, Coordinator IQAC NN College, for his encouraging words. Sir, NN College owe your dynamic leadership. At last, but not least, I extend my thanks for all participants for your kind presence. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Can I go
sir.
now? Can I leave, madam?
Yes, now we have come to the end of today's first session of our national workshop. I thank all our esteemed resource person, our CMBP collaborators, and other international experts who gave us their valuable time and efforts while being in continuous touch with our organizing team. I also thank all our participants for their